Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy James. I am doing something a little different in this video. I am deciding to interview some Overwatch players. I haven't really posted any Overwatch content on this channel, mostly because, to me, the game has fallen off for me. I don't really enjoy it like how I used to in the past, and I wanted to see what opinions the people that still play Overwatch, which I'm not saying the game is dead, the game still has a community, you know, all that, but I wanted to see what their opinions on Overwatch right now and Rivals are, you know, and if they would, you know, recommend a game to a new player to the genre, which one would it be? And there's a lot of interesting answers in this. Some of them a little bit the same. And I will say this now. Oops, I dropped some. I will say this now. They are all Overwatch 2 players. They all started in Overwatch 2. So these opinions might be different than Overwatch 1 players. So if you're an Overwatch 1 player that is not having fun in Overwatch 2 at all, just letting you know, these are opinions of players that have only played in Overwatch 2. Calm down. They've all played Rivals. Calm down. Alright? Chill it. But without further ado, you guys, I'm just gonna let these interviews roll right through. And I will catch you guys in the ending. Alright, hello, you still there?
Yes, I am still here.
Alright, so first question is, have you ever played Rivals? Like Marvel Rivals?
I have played Marvel Rivals, yes.
Okay, how much of a percentage would you give, like, which one do you play more, basically? Which one do you play more?
Recently, I have been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. I will not lie.
Okay. So, why do you still play Overwatch? Not like as like a judgment question, just like purely wondering.
I wasted money on the game, and I do like it. I like the characters. I like the idea. I like the gameplay. And it brings like the nostalgia and enjoyment of just being able to have fun and play the game, if you're not taking it seriously.
Okay. So would you describe yourself as like a more of like a casual player?
So, I've gotten pretty competitive into the game before, and then, realized it wasn't for me. I peaked at Diamond, and I just, stopped taking the game seriously.
Okay, dope. When did you start playing Overwatch?
I had a Blizzard account back in like 2019 and like all this stuff, but I never played. And then I really got into the game when Overwatch 2 dropped, but I knew about it before.
So would you say you're more of like a Overwatch 2 player? Because there's some people that start off on Overwatch 1, and then they came to
I
Overwatch
would consider
2.
myself more of an Overwatch 2 player.
So you start off on Overwatch 2. Okay. What are your thoughts on like the old Overwatch? Have you seen like gameplay of that? And like, there's like the classic mode that they keep bringing back now, the old style. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's cool. It lets other people, like me, who didn't get to experience that, get to experience like none of those metas and that cool, fun stuff. I'm a Lucio player, so being able to be a part of GOATs, which is obviously one of my favorite metas, it's pretty cool. And I think it's a really cool idea that they're like to bring that stuff. And it really shows that like, it's not that they're lazy, but they just want to like push it out there,
Yeah. All right. This is This is a pretty good question since you started off on Overwatch 2. How much money do you think you've spent on this game?
Oof, man, I could open my bank statements right now. If I had to put a number, I'd say close to 200.
200? To be honest, that's probably the most like lowest number I've heard from Overwatch players.
That's fair. I've only bought in. I think I bought the 40 like the $40 pack twice. You know, like the bundles with the battle pass releases. Bought that twice. I bought some Overwatch coins and like the league tokens for some skins. I bought the lesser frame stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say I'd wasted around that much.
Honestly, not that much money to be honest. Like, there's some players that, man, it's
I
crazy.
know they spend like 1,000 a month on this game. Oof, it's diabolical.
It is bad. It is bad indeed.
Very bad.
So what draws you into Overwatch and Rivals?
Well, I guess it's just like the characters and the way you can really do whatever you want. If you're trying to have fun, of course. So, you know, like some characters that I would say that really draw me into Overwatch would be like Lucio, Genji, Cassidy's, and Yada, and Doomfist, just because they're all really cool. And like when you see like a cool clip on TikTok or whatever, you're like, dang, I want to do that now. Like it really gets you in the mood to play. And then same for Rivals. When I see someone, it's a cool clip for Winter Soldier or Spider-Man, I'm like, hey, I want to do that. So I'll hop on and I'll play for a while.
Okay. Do you think Overwatch is in a good state right now?
I would say they're probably in a better state that they have been as of recently. You know, they already did the Lesser Frame collab, which did bring up the game, I would say. The April Fool's update, which it was pretty fun. I had fun. The loot boxes are back. I know some people are happy about that. And overall, it is just, you know, you don't have to waste a lot of money on this game to have cool things, characters, and I'd say roughly pretty balanced. I haven't faced anything that has been very overpowering recently. So I'd say it's in a pretty good state. I wouldn't say like it's in the safest spot. And there's definitely room for improvement in some areas, but as of right now, it is good.
All right. I guess actually two more questions. This one first. This is kind of I don't want you to see this as mean because you are in the Overwatch 2 player spectrum. Do you think
It's better just to get it out there?
Yeah, do you think the new players are ruining the game? Which I mean by this is some Overwatch 1 players, like from the OG days, that still play the game today, say that some of the new players are, you know, really whiny. They don't understand like how this game used to be, because you know, like back in like I think it was like 2016, 2017, game was like peak and stuff. Everyone loved it.
The game was good. It won game of the year. It won game of the year.
Game of the year, you know. So do you think that the new players that are saying like, oh, you guys are wrong, you know, the game's like amazing, I would even say the game back then was trashy, do you think those players are kind of ruining the game?
I mean, for themselves, definitely. They're definitely ruining it for themselves, because if you go into anything with that type of mentality, you're not gonna have a good time. And then, yeah, I would say people like that and those type of players definitely are going to be ruining the game, because then they're going to take the game too seriously. Like, oh, right now, this game is the best and it's not going to get any better. Don't think like that, because then when something bad happens, who are you going to blame? Overwatch, of course, because that's the game you're playing.
And then one last question to leave this interview with. What game would you recommend more to a player that's maybe looking at both and are hearing from like both sides of both game? Like, you know, Marvel Rival players are saying don't try Overwatch, this is a better version, and they actually care about this game. from Overwatch 2 players that are saying, no, you should try our game because Marvel Rivals is just some cheap copy, and they don't, those players are just salty that they're not having fun on this game anymore. Which game would you suggest for them?
Oh, I would say first to keep an open book, to like always stay open. I say try both of them and see, you know, you have to experience that personally yourself. But if I had to recommend one, depending on what they're specifically looking for, if they're looking for more like a carefree, they want to have fun, they don't want to have the worries of their team yelling at them, and they don't want to take it like really too seriously, and they just want to do whatever they want to go into a game and do whatever they want, I would say they should try Marvel Rivals first and just do whatever they want. Play whatever their heroes, practice range it all over they want. And then if they feel like they need a team, they want to play with friends, and they need like to be, what's the word? They need to be grouped up, and they need to be like a team. Like you need like cooperation to work. Then you should definitely like try more of Overwatch, as that's what like it really aspires to be. Because in Marvel Rivals, you can really do whatever you want. Like, you know, there's no role queue. There's none of the stuff, none of the restrictions that Overwatch has that like forces you to play as a team.
Mm-hmm.
While in Marvel Rivals, you know, like Marvel Rivals, you can just do whatever you want. And then in Overwatch, you have to play as a team. You have to communicate. And if you don't, whose fault can you really blame there? So I'd say if you want to have fun, go for Marvel Rivals. If you want to lock in and like experience, get better, definitely play Overwatch.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I think those answers were honestly very satisfying, coming from an Overwatch 2 player that plays both. So thank you for that.
Ooh, I feel so special. Shit.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Alex. I usually go by Alex Spooky because that's what everybody introduces me as. But it's usually just Alex. That's about it. Alex.
All right. And before I started the recording bit, you said that you played both Overwatch and Rivals?
Yeah, I do play both. I do play Overwatch and Rival, yeah.
Okay, first question then would be, why do you play both then?
Well, I typically like Marvel a lot more because Marvel, it has a big expansion van, and honestly it has a lot, my personal favorite, it has a lot more graphics, it gives us a lot more opportunities, and it gives a little lord status that I love so much. I love the lord status on a specific character that gives it that. I love the quick game modes it gives us, and all the quick like recently that we got a new upgrade because it's a new season, and we got opportunity to get two new new what's it called, like new characters, new skins. They just give us a lot of opportunities that Overwatch has been lacking for so long. And they finally, like, Overwatch has been finally answering all this stuff. Like, I used to be an Overwatch 1 gram until this stuff happened. You know?
That actually kind of leached into my next question, was when did you start playing Overwatch?
I started playing Overwatch, and it was almost 2 years ago, because when I moved in with my roommates at the time, they introduced me to it, and I loved it. I was playing it all the time with them, and I loved it. And then like stuff, life happened at that point, and we had to move out and all the good stuff. And I still loved Overwatch, of course, because that's how we rekindled and like all the good stuff. but my grandparents, of course, love them. They gave me a PS5. I'm playing Marvel, and Marvel has been so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. That's what I have to say.
So, you started playing in, was it Overwatch 1?
No.
No, Overwatch 2.
I haven't played No, yeah, Overwatch 2, yes.
Okay, okay.
It was a little over last year.
Okay,
When I started
okay.
playing myself.
Okay, next question would be, how much money do you think you've spent on Overwatch?
Oh my god. That's a good ass question because I spent over 200. I know I spent $200 on that game. As a long, not it hasn't been a long period. The short period of time I spent on Overwatch, I've spent so much money because I love the game. So more than 200, probably more than 300 game in that short experience of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about both games? Like, what do you like about Overwatch, and what do you like about Marvel Rivals?
Okay, recently Marvel has introduced the little what's it called? The little presents they give us. What do you call that? Do you know?
Do you mean just like
Loot boxes.
oh
Loot boxes, okay. Okay. Recently, Overwatch has introduced us loot boxes all over again. And that's what have made me recently, my experience, made me play it more. And just Marvel, there's a lot more characters. There's Marvel is just a lot more experience, obviously, than Overwatch.
Yeah, they don't really have to make
now.
like original characters since they have like a onslaught of a
I mean,
millions
Overwatch
of
has been
characters.
what here since 2016 and plus. Yeah, like I love Overwatch. It is such a fun game to have, and when I've been playing, like everything has been such a good experience. And then Marvel was here, and like new characters, new play games, new maps, and all the good stuff. And then I played Marvel, and then Overwatch brought loot boxes back. Even though I played both at the same time, loot boxes have drawn me more into Overwatch.
Like the chance of getting like just free stuff in general, because I mean
Not free stuff, just like a glimpse to old games, because like old skins and all that stuff.
oh okay.
It's personally, it wasn't like free stuff, blah blah blah. It was just like an opportunity to view into old game modes and like old skins and stuff. That's what it was for me, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as a casual player on these games or a competitive person on these games?
Honestly, it varies. Like, I'm usually a competitive player. Like, I love playing comp. God, I love playing comp, but when it stresses me out, I like playing just a casual game. It really varies on my team.
Kind of like the custom games, you know, like a little break.
I don't play customs usually, honestly. I mean, honestly, tonight was just a little dabble. Like, I play comp, I play quick play. It just varies on my night.
Okay.
Like, tonight was just a little dabble in my, like, just recently, I was playing custom game. It's just, like, a recent thing.
Okay. Then next question would be, do you think Overwatch is in a good state right now? Like gameplay and just like what they're promising in the future wise.
I mean, future-wise, they have a lot of competition. And honestly, this new patch is doing really fucking good. They're doing so good. It just makes me sad because now officially Marvel's out and now they have competition. So they're
Mm-hmm.
trying a lot to make the game more alive again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the game is gonna be alive to a lot. Like, I love the game still. I do, I really do. But they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of competition in all these games. Cause like, of course, like original players and has seen this. Everybody has complained about this. They finally have competition and they're finally doing game. They're finally changing things to the game that we've all been begging for the longest time. Once they have competition. That's my input about that.
Okay, that was a good answer.
Thank you.
Last two questions then.
Of course.
Say that a new gamer to the genre of like hero shooters came up to you and has seen Overwatch and has seen Marvel Rivals, and they've heard like from Overwatch players, don't try Rivals, it's just a cheap copy. They're just trying to do what Overwatch is doing. And then Rivals players are saying, well, don't go to Overwatch because Rivals is a better upgrade to Overwatch, and the Overwatch devs don't try. What would you say to this player? Like, what game would you recommend, or would you recommend both?
I would personally recommend both because it's obviously they're pointing out different perspectives, and I would just dabble in both. Like, I would recommend Overwatch because Overwatch is such a good game. It genuinely is such a good game, but Marvel Rivals is also a good game. So I would recommend dabbling in both at this point because they're both really good games to play in. That's my answer.
Okay.
Maybe both because they're both really good games.
Good answer. Last question. And you kind of, you're in this category a little bit since you said that you've started in Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Do you think that new players are ruining the game? And what I mean by this is a lot of the OG Overwatch 1 players say that the new players of Overwatch 2 don't understand how the game used to be in like 2016, 2017, even 2018 when the game was essentially peak, you know, it got Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And they kind of describe the new players as like whiny, unknowledgeable, and just unfun to play with.
No.
So do you
No.
No,
I don't. I'll finish your. Go ahead.
So you would say no, the new players that are like they started on Overwatch 2 are not ruining the game.
No, of course not. Like, I started on Overwatch. Like, they're all learning. They're all learning a new perspective of the game. Like, I wouldn't say ruining it because, as you say, like, new games are here every day. New games on and new games on Marvel. It's not ruining the game at all. At all. I don't think so. Fucking at all. Because we're all learning at the, like, all of us don't have the opportunities most have on the game, and they're just now learning. Kids and adults. At the end of the day, we're just learning. And I don't think we're ruining it. Because at the end of the day, we're all learning together.
Okay. That was good. That was a good answer. Well,
I'm glad because that's how I feel.
thank you for your time, Alex. That was
Of course.
that was a good conversation with another Overwatch 2
Had
player, because
fun.
earlier I had a other Overwatch 2 player, and you guys kind of gave like similar answers to why you guys like this game and why you
I'm
guys also
glad.
like Rivals.
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you for your time.
of course.
All right, we got our third person here. Would you mind giving us like a name? Not-
Yeah,
it
sure.
isn't-
Baphomet.
Okay, cool. Did you actually spell that out real quick so that in my editing process I don't have to
it's
guess?
Yeah, of course. It's Baphomet.
All right, you got that, editor, which is me. Okay, now starting off with first question. You said that you play both games. Which game
Yes.
would you say that you play more?
Overwatch for sure.
Overwatch for sure. Okay, that's actually a different answer than two of my other interviewers.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Some of these questions are gonna be different then.
Okay, cool.
Okay, then when did you start playing Overwatch?
About a year and a half ago, like season I want to say it was like season 9.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was like season 9 whenever I started. I'm not entirely sure what season I was on.
So you're an Overwatch 2 player. You've never played Overwatch
Yeah.
1 in your life.
No, I haven't. I wanted to play Overwatch whenever Overwatch 1 was around. I was just a kid though and didn't really have internet at home, so
Okay. Next question then for you would be, how much money have you spent on this game?
surprisingly not a lot. I think maybe 100 tops. 200 pushing it.
Wow, that's actually that's like the tamest one yet, actually. Wow.
Yeah. I
You-
think I've only bought like 2 or maybe 3 battle passes, and then every now and then just a skin that I like. I'll fork out money for.
You got a strong will on your wallet.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've got a mortgage and stuff to be concerned about, so.
Oh yeah, that'll
it
do
definitely
it.
helps. Yeah, it definitely helps. Having adult responsibilities.
All right. Since you play Overwatch more, well, how much of Rivals have you played? Like,
About 100, maybe 200 hours tops.
100, 200 hours. Okay. Would you describe yourself as a casual player or a competitive player in both games?
On Rivals, I'm definitely more of a casual player. On Overwatch, I would definitely say I'm a little more competitive.
What rank? What rank are
I
you?
pretty much play in all of my spare time on Overwatch, and I'm constantly in comp.
Okay. What rank are you in Overwatch?
Currently, I am Gold 3, I believe. I've peaked Diamond 1.
Nice. I thought you were gonna continue talking, so my bad for that awkward pause.
No, you're good.
Okay. Give me 1 second to choose a question. I got a little list here. Okay. I'm gonna alter this question. What makes you play Overwatch more than Rivals?
Rivals is still very much so in its infancy. It feels underdeveloped. It doesn't feel like a completely finished and polished game. I mean, just like Overwatch 1 did whenever it first released. It felt very clunky. And essentially, to me personally, it feels like you're playing a PS3 game on a PS5. The controls and the overall God, what's the word I'm looking for?
Polish?
Yeah, just God, it's a terminology for a game. Good lord, yeah, the overall just the controls don't feel finished. It feels very clunky and
Okay.
yeah, it just doesn't feel complete, you know. I would say give it probably about a year or so and that might change. But currently it just doesn't feel like a good game. I think also the third person really screws with me.
Okay. Do you think the game would be better in first person?
I honestly don't know. I feel like it would help, especially if they did offer a third person capability. I do think that would draw me a little more towards it and play it a little more competitively. Um I don't know if necessarily if it would make it better currently, but I do think that it would help me enjoy it more.
Okay. These are good answers. These are good answers. Definitely different answers than the beginning. Um, next question. Okay, this is kind of like an on-the-fly type question. Well, actually, I'll ask you this question before I ask you this next one. Do you
Uh-huh.
think Overwatch is in a good state right now?
It's getting better for sure. I definitely believe that that Overwatch now having competition with rivals has definitely helped it to kind of speed up the process and thrive a little bit more. I definitely do believe that competition wholeheartedly is a good thing. Because there for a while, Overwatch had kind of reached a state of complacency, where the devs didn't feel like they had to do too terribly much to keep people entertained and keep them hooked because there was no other game on the market for a long time that ever competed or came close to Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Now that there is, I definitely do feel like it's getting better. I mean, this last season that just came out, for example, loot boxes, they're putting more effort into the content that they're releasing. I I do feel like it's getting better, but it's not at a place currently where they can compete with a big name like Rival, like Marvel Rivals. But who's to say that that won't change in season 16 with what's the new game mode that's being released? Good lord.
I
Um
think it's called Stadium.
Stadium, yes.
The
Yeah, with
I
Stadium being
isn't
released.
that third person too?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is a third person. I'm down to try it out. Again, third person has never really been my thing. I'm definitely a first person shooter type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's also going to draw a lot of people back in that have gotten used to rivals and the third person um uh platform. Um, as a whole, I especially like from I'd say like season 10 forward, it felt really lackluster. Um, and it's just been progressively getting worse until about last season, where they provided a bunch of new things to keep people kind of hooked and entertained.
Mm.
Um, I think that they are making changes to go towards a better player experience, but currently, I wouldn't say that it's the best. They I can feel like they're making changes and they're trying to make changes to keep their player base, and it's great. It's fantastic. I love what they've done, and I love what they're promising. Now, if it'll come out as as good as they're promising, we shall see.
Okay. Um. Then the follow-up question to you from me would be, with all this promise and stuff and like future things to come, say like it wasn't what you expected, or maybe Marvel Rivals did get better in your eyes. What would be the breaking point for you to stop playing Overwatch to start just playing Rivals?
Oh, I genuinely don't know. I kind of fell in love with Overwatch from pretty much the first play. Whenever I first downloaded it and first started playing. It would take quite a lot for me to completely like turn off Overwatch and make a switch to Marvel Rivals. Like it would take a lot. It would take like Overwatch like completely shutting down servers. And Rivals, what's the best way to say this? And for Rivals to reach a status of comfortability like Overwatch did. Like I said, they're in their infancy, and it feels like a game that is in its infancy. It isn't completely polished. They would definitely have to fix a lot of those issues for me to even consider that to be my primary game.
Okay. Next question. Okay. Since you are a Overwatch 2 player, you haven't really experienced Overwatch 1. So I'm gonna explain this question after I say it.
Absolutely.
Do you think the new players are ruining the game? Now, what I mean by this is there's obviously a group of Overwatch 1 players, which some of them have migrated to Rivals, but some of them have still stayed. Right. They say that the new Overwatch 2 players have ruined the game by, you know, they didn't really understand like how the game was back in like its peak days of 2016, 2017, 2018.
Right.
They often describe Overwatch 2 players as like whiny or just like uninformed and annoying. Would you say that the new players are ruining this game, or maybe like the opposite effect?
I would say it's kind of 50-50. I mean, in every like fandom anywhere, there's going to be miserable people to be around. I spend a lot of time on Overwatch. I spend a lot of time on like consuming Overwatch content on, may it be TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, literally whatever. I can somewhat agree, absolutely. I think a lot of people do need to get a grip and kind of realize how far Overwatch has come and stop nitpicking literally every aspect of the game. You know, new content's released and everybody's excited, and there's always that one voice in the background that's just screaming and yelling and being absolutely obnoxious about it. You know, that I can absolutely agree with. And a lot of the newer players as well are just toxic, absolutely toxic. Coming from a new player, like good lord, a lot of people can be really toxic. I'm not 100% for like the strong censorship that Overwatch has over like text chat and voice chat. Like some people can be overly sensitive about that. Let's be so honest. But a lot of people can also take it way too far. It's just about finding that happy middle ground.
Yeah, let's not make it like how it was back then with, you know, the old Call of Duty lobbies. But let's not make it how it's now, where you can't even call someone stupid or you'll get banned.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like if you have a Mercy in a 15-minute game with only 700 healing, you should be able to call them stupid. Like there should be a level of like, no, they were right in that situation, but I digress. I can absolutely agree that it's not entirely new players, but a lot of newer players do have the tendency to nitpick and be a little more obnoxious with their opinions, and they kind of shove themselves into situations and kind of badmouth a lot of the devs, and a lot of the effort that's put into the game.
Okay.
Which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on that question for sure.
Okay. So this is going to be the last question.
Absolutely.
If a new player to the genre, which is like hero shooter, saw the game Overwatch and Rivals, and came to you asking like which game should they try first, or should they only try this game, or should they try both, which one would you say, or if you would say both?
I'm not gonna persuade somebody one way or another. I'm obviously an Overwatch player. Like there's no hiding it. I am not a huge fan of Rivals at this point in time. But if one of my friends was coming to me, I would definitely tell them, hey, download Overwatch, give it a chance. If you don't like it, there's this game Rivals. Definitely give that a chance as well, but at least hop on Overwatch and like play with me just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, as a whole, I'm not gonna sway someone too hard to the right or too hard to the left on either which way, on either which game. It doesn't necessarily matter to me, and I've had a lot of friends that have like completely made a switch to Rivals, and that's totally fine. I still have them on Discord, hey, if you're ever back on Overwatch, let me know. I'll be here. I'll be in comp.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. You definitely gave a lot of actually different answers. You're so far the third Overwatch 2 player, and you've
Awesome.
given some pretty good answers to the common questions I've asked the other two. So thank you for your time. Alright guys, welcome to the end of the video. We had a lot of interesting and different answers, and I kind of find myself agreeing with some of the things they say, and some of the things maybe not so much. I personally really like Marvel Rivals right now. New season looks sick. I haven't really been able to get a second to play it yet. I know. What the heck am I doing? What am I doing? But I'll definitely get on to that. Emma Frost looks super dope with some pretty crazy combos that I've already seen players pull off. But anyways, guys, I would definitely like to hear your guys' opinions on the questions I asked in this video. I would love to interact with that. If you know these games, if you're just a common fan that maybe you haven't played either of these games and you just like watching my videos, still thank you. And for the very last question that I asked them for what games that I would recommend, whether that be Marvel Rivals or Overwatch, I kind of would recommend both too. As a new player for Overwatch, I feel like this game would be really fun. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of characters that, you don't really know the past of. You don't know if they were broken in the past. You don't know if they were bad in the past. You just know the character that you see right now. So I would definitely say go try out both games. But anyways, guys, leave a like on this video if you you know, like the video, consider subscribing. This isn't usually what I do, but who knows? Maybe I'll start doing it. Share this video with your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your grandpa, your grandma, your great grandpa, your great grandma, your great great grandpa, and your great great grandma. And I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.